Good evening, everyone. As now yogis have been practicing for a few days already. So when they are noting objects such as primary object in the sitting meditation, walking meditation, as well as the daily activities, there are three things yogi should know. Arising of the object, how the yogi noted it, and what the yogi come to know. In the sitting meditation, for most of the yogi, the primary object rising and falling of the abdomen. When noting the primary object rising, whether the yogi can note the rising. If the yogi can note the rising of the abdomen, what he or she comes to know. Noting rising, the yogi noted as rising. What does the yogi come to know? Is it the form or shape of the abdomen? Or is it the manner of moving? Or the nature such as stiffness or tension? When noting rising, if the yogi just notices the form or shape of the abdomen, it is sandana panyati, form or shape concept. Or if the yogi come to notice it, the movement when noting rising, this manner of moving is akara panyati, manner concept. So in the beginning of the practice, yogi might only know form or shape or the manner. But so long as the noting mind is fully on the object that the yogi is noting, defilement cannot arise. The other day, I was explaining that the samadhi khanda, in the practice based on the sila, the morality that one has already taken and abided by, practicing involving the effort, samavayama, in order to note the object, mindfulness, sticking on the object, samasati, the noting mind, calm, connected on the object, samasamadhi. In this way, when this samadhi khanda, the concentration group is present, yogi come to know the at first form or shape or the manner. As long as these three factors, samavayama, samasati, samasamadhi, are present, as long as the mind is fully on the object, noticing either the shape or manner, the tasna, obsessive craving, doesn't arise at the moment when there is viriya, sati, and samadhi noting on the object and noticing the object, either the form or shape or the manner. So it is momentarily removing the obsessive craving by having the samadhi factors, samadhi khanda, present in the noting. As the yogi notes the object, Samma Vayama, right effort, Samma Sati, right mindfulness, Samma Samadhi, right concentration. When these three factors of this Samadhi group become strong, then the yogi comes to discern what nature is in the object that the yogi is noting. For example, when noting rising, having these three factors of the Samadhi Khanda strong, also having Samma Sankappa, right application of the mind onto the object, yogi comes to discern the Paramatha, ultimate reality of the object that has been noted. When noting rising, yogi comes to discern the nature such as stiffness, tension, movement. When this happens, yogi comes to discern the nature of Paramatha, form or shape or the manner yogi discern what is beyond form or shape or manner, that yogi comes to discern the nature of the Paramatha that is obvious at the present moment. So in this way, in each noting, there are 8 factors of the path. Having taken the precept, there is Samma Vaca, right speech, Samma Kamanda, right action, Samma Ajiva, right livelihood. So these 3 factors of the morality has been present. Noting the object with effort, Samma Vayama, mindful of the object, Samma Sati, being concentrated on the object, Samma Samadhi, applying the mind onto the object, Samma Sankappa, right application, and Samadhi, discerning the nature, the characteristic that is in the object, such as stiffness, tension, movement. So in this way, the 8 factors of the path are present in each noting by applying Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi, Samma Sankappa, and Samadhi, discerning the nature, the characteristic of the object. So in this way, yogi has to make effort in the noting so that these factors, 8 factors, will be present in each of the noting. It is called Upabhagamaka, preliminary path. So at the time of practice, yogi is cultivating the preliminary path by noting and discerning the present arising object. In the food, various kind of food have various kind of flavor. When the person eats the food, chew properly, pay attention, the person comes to know the flavor of the food. In the same way, whatever object that the yogi is noting, whether it is rising, falling, or whether it is sitting, touching, or pain in the sitting meditation, or lifting, moving, placing in the walking meditation, or daily activities such as standing, stretching, whatever object that the yogi is noting, if the yogi make the effort, pay attention, be mindful, the noting mind concentrated on the object, the mind applied onto the object that has been noted, yogi can come to know the nature, the characteristic that is in the object, just like the flavor of the food. For example, when the yogi notes sitting, the legs crossed, the upper body upright, keeping the awareness on the whole body sitting, noted except sitting. What does the yogi come to know? Is it the stiffness, tension, or movement? Or is it hardness, softness, or heaviness? Is it warmth, heat, cold, or fluidity, cohesion? What does the yogi know when noting sitting? In the body, there are the four great elements that are most obvious among the materiality. So whether the yogi is doing sitting meditation or walking meditation or daily activity, if the yogi pay attention on the object that is arising at the present moment, yogi can come to know any of the nature that are obvious at the present moment. If Vayo Dhatu, air element, is most obvious at that moment, yogi experiences stiffness, tension, movement. Or if Pathavi Dhatu, earth element, is obvious at that moment, yogi notices hardness, softness. Or if Tejo Dhatu, the temperature element, is obvious at that moment, yogi experiences warmth, heat, cold. Or if the Apo Dhatu, water element, manifests at that moment, yogi experiences fluidity, cohesion. So in this way, whatever object that the yogi is noting, any of these elements that are obvious at the present moment, yogi can come to discern the nature, the characteristics of these elements that are in the object, that are obvious at the present moment. So discerning this nature, the characteristic, there is panya, knowledge, wisdom has arisen, discerning these characteristics. So the other day, there has been explanation that through the practice of sila, the transgressive craving removes with the practice of sila. With the practice of samadhi, having effort, mindfulness, and concentration present, one removes obsessive craving at the moment of having viriya, sati, and samadhi. And when yogi discerns the nature, the characteristic of the object, Sama Sankappa, right application of the mind, Samadhi, right knowledge, discerning the nature characteristic of the object. By being mindful, yogi remove latent or dormant craving by discerning the object, that is, removing momentarily by discerning the object. The other day, there was the explanation of this verse on Pura Veda Sutta. So there was the question put up by the Nemitta Buddha. What is to be done before the body breaks up and life ends? What is to be done? And it is said, Veda Tanno Pura Veda. The Buddha replied that before the body breaks down, before one's life ends, Veda Tanno, one should be free from tanha craving. An arahat is totally free from tanha craving. So in order to get there, we must be working momentarily, removing the tanha craving by being mindful moment by moment on the object that is arising at the present moment. So just now, through the practice of Satipatthana meditation, having these 8 factors of the path, the preliminary path, yogi discern the nature characteristic. So the yogi removes the latent dormant defilement, tanha craving, moment by moment, at the time of being mindful, discerning the characteristic. And as the yogi continue the practice, yogi cultivates knowledge stage by stage. And when the yogi attains the first path knowledge, the craving that leads to apaya will be eradicated. And as the yogi practice on, second path and fruition knowledge, third path and fruition knowledge, and finally, when the yogi gets to this, attaining the fourth path knowledge, the craving will totally be removed. So in order to totally remove the craving, we have to work moment by moment, every single second, to be noting the presently arising object so that we will remove the latent, dormant craving moment by moment until the craving is fully removed. And it is said, Upamnanda Manesito, meaning one should not lean on or one should not be attached with the past. The past here can be the things that happened yesterday, few days ago, last month, last year, or a few years ago. So the things that happened in the past, if one is thinking over again, being attached with craving or being attached with ditthi, wrong view, such kind of attachment with tanha and ditthi should be removed. Based on how one has lived, how one has eaten, how one had fun with friends. If one is thinking, remembering of these past experiences, being attached on them, there arises tasna, craving. At times, yogi may be doing sitting meditation, but he or she may be remembering of the good things that happened in the past. If one is being attached with these memories, tasna, craving arises based on the past experience. And also, there can be remembering of the past with the wrong view that I have eaten, I have taken, I have had fun, and so on. This notion of I is ditthi, atta ditthi, the personality wrong view, atta ditthi or sakaya ditthi. So in this way, if one is thinking about the things that happened in the past with attachment, being attached to these past experiences with tanha, craving, ditthi, wrong view, such should be removed. How does one do it? When one remembers the past, note it immediately as remembering, so that one will not be attached. One will not be attached with craving on these past experiences. And one will not be attached to these past experience with ditthi. So when remembering the past events, remembering, the mind that remembers also arise and pass away. Noting, remembering, and noticing that remembering goes away, one realizes that this remembering is also not permanent. It arises and passes away. There is nothing to be attached with craving. There is no present being. In this way, craving, tasna, doesn't arise, or wrong view of I, person, being doesn't arise. If one notes remembering, if one notes remembering right away, as soon as remembering arises. So in this way, one removes craving and wrong view by noting, remembering as soon as the memory on the past that arise. And finally, when one becomes an arahat, one will not be attached with the past at all. Nati urekata, meaning there should not be longing about the future. For example, if one is about to make a trip, there will be planning, like buying the ticket, making appointment to meet this person, having business meeting, and so on. Also, a person who is on a journey of the samsara, one may long for good existences. One will want to have this, have that in the next life. Such are longing for the future. So in the meditation, one should not be longing for the future, thinking about the future. So if they are planning for the future that arises, one should note it right away. Planning, 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 so that craving does not arise based on what one wants in the future or what will happen in the future. In this way, one should not be longing for the future. Vemache na upasankheya, meaning one should not be called as a lustful, greedy person, or one should not be named lustful, greedy person, and so on, or one should not be in the list of lustful or greedy person in the present, connected with the present. If one is not being mindful of the present, greed arises, then the person is named a lustful, greedy person in the list of lustful, greedy person. Not being mindful, if there is anger, the person is named angry person. The person in the list of angry person. Or not being mindful, not discerning the nature, the characteristic, not discerning. The person is named deluded person. The person is included in the list of deluded person. And if there is mana, then the person is called as a deluded person, conceitful person, arrogant, being arrogant person. Or if there is skeptical doubt, the person may be called as confused, doubtful person. And having these akusala present, the person will be included in the list of people who has low destiny. In order not to be called, not to be named, not to be included in the list of greedy or angry or deluded or arrogant or person who has low destiny, one should be mindful in the present. One should be mindful of whatever object that arises at the present moment. One should be mindful whatever object that arises at the sixth sense door, at the moment of seeing, at the moment of hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, knowing, whatever is present at the moment, one should be mindful, discerning them, so that one will not be named, one will not be included in the list of lustful, greedy, angry, deluded person, the person who has low destiny. So the first verse is, before one's body breaks down, before one's life comes to an end, one should be free from tanha craving. One should not be attached to the past. One should not be longing for the future. And one should not be named. One should not be in the list of having defilement in the present. So this is the first verse. And one will have this accomplishment when one becomes an arahat. So for today, it will be all. May all the yogis be able to practice smoothly so that yogis will reach the goal before the end of one's life.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.